Hello and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By 10 Forward number 11.
What?
Woo!
The Rocketeer.
Yay! I was really excited about this one.
Yes. Now why, gentle viewers,
So many reasons.
The Rocketeer? Well, mostly because Jesus Christ, is it ever a field day for one-off TNG actors? Perhaps most importantly, the Rocketeer himself, Cliff Secord, the outrageous Akona. I don't know his real name.
Billy Campbell.
Thank you. I knew
Which
it was...
is confusing because William Campbell played Trelane and Koloff.
Oh, what? There we go.
Yeah.
No relation as far as I know. I didn't actually check.
I think
assumed.
Okona fits better into this universe than he does in Star Trek.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I liked him. I
Yeah.
feel bad actually that he's not in many other movies and shit.
There should have been... We should be looking at,
If Okana had been this guy, I'd actually really like him.
It's a shame we didn't get a Rocketeer franchise off of the back of this.
Oh, I have notes.
Yeah.
In addition to the actors, though, also the swelling soundtrack from James Horner.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Where he literally reused a little bit of the Battle of the Mutara Nebula at the end.
Oh, they do. Yeah, but all these film composers.
No, I know. They
vomit up
recycle their own
shit.
stuff. But it was funny to hear it. It's like, I know that piece.
He's like, I thought someone has written the perfect lick for that. Oh, it was me! I'll just put it right in.
You know, better he ripped himself off than someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So, Chris, I think give us just the 2-sentence synopsis of Rocketeer.
It's 1938.
Already too long. That's too detail heavy already.
Through shenanigans, Cliff Secord, unemployed pilot, winds up with a rocket pack, which he has to use to fight crime and keep it away from the Nazis who want to use it to take over the world.
Sweet.
Yeah, that sounds about right. This was my brother's favorite movie.
It's a good movie.
And as we were going into it, I apparently remembered exactly one thing about the movie, and that was the smile on Malcolm the Clown's face when he survives. Everything else in this movie I apparently had entirely forgotten because I'm like, Nazis? I don't remember any of this.
I remember
there was a giant plot with what's his fucking name? Howard Hughes.
Yep.
Of Spruce Goose fame.
The Spruce Moose was Mr. Burns.
I know, it's still great. And I texted my brother after watching this actually, because, it was his favorite movie, to say, hey, I just watched The Rocketeer for the first time in probably 25 years. It actually held up. And he writes back saying, I just saw the preview text of the text message and thought to myself before reading the whole thing, there's no way that movie held up. But it does. I think it does.
It does. So
it was super good.
Before we get into it, though, because there's other things, of course. There is, as you mentioned, Howard Hughes, Terry O'Quinn, Captain of the Pegasus.
He looked damn good.
He did. Who else? Worf's adopted brother is
Paul
the
Sorvino?
chief gangster.
Rom from DS9.
Yeah,
haven't met him
was
yet,
the guy that got bent
Well,
in
we
half.
have had him, just not as Rom.
That's true.
As other Ferengi.
So what's really funny is I recognize that actor as having been the guy that Dolores's gangster boyfriend,
Mulva?
blows away at the beginning of Sister Act.
And
Yes,
I think...
Mulva.
We will see Lothar a couple more times in various roles.
Yeah,
And
usually under makeup.
He's terrifying.
Yeah.
I mean, the
She
makeup...
asked me halfway through the movie, she's like, is that his real face? And I'm like, no.
I mean,
I actually, the first time we saw him too, I was like, that's makeup, right?
The
And
thing
Chris
is,
was like, I fucking
There's
hope
so much makeup he can barely move his mouth.
Yeah, when he
well,
talks.
it becomes much more apparent
Yeah.
once he starts talking, and you're like, ooh, they
Thing is,
badly dubbed this in later.
If you did have a face like that, you'd be perfect in plenty of roles.
Yeah. No, that
reminds me of Jaws.
That's
yeah.
what I was.
Richard
Did I
Kiel.
say that out loud?
You
Because I
did
thought
not.
it at one point.
No, there's definitely they were probably very consciously modeling him on Jaws.
Yeah.
But we were saying,
But
too...
Jaws didn't have makeup, he just had teeth.
True.
The rest of him was real.
Yes. But,
He was
He's
a
an
big
ugly fucker.
motherfucker, yeah. Well,
Caitlin and I were talking about this as we watched it. It's like, aside from all the Trek sort of connections, it's also just that guy, the movie.
everybody is in this. Alan Arkin.
Yep.
What else is Alan Arkin from?
Oh, everything.
Oh God, Alan Arkin. You ever seen So I Married an Axe Murder?
Yeah,
I know years ago. I know that you don't like when we go on tangents about it.
No, but
he's in it. He's the
just that I haven't seen it in so long.
So he's the police chief that like tries to make like racial slurs to Anthony LaPaglia to like make the role more to make his job more exciting. I guess.
Yeah, he wants him to be like a hard-nosed chief, so he tries to
super
act the
nice.
part.
Anyway, it's like he's in everything though.
Yeah, he's in.
You
ever seen Little Miss Sunshine?
Yeah.
He's the grandfather.
I feel like he would be in every single the Royal Tenenbaums, that guy. I feel like he would have him in every movie. I don't think he does, but I feel like he must.
At least one of them though.
Yeah, I just feel like he would fit right into one of those films.
One of the crew was what do you say his name was? William Sadler? Not Sadler, that's somebody else.
Oh, the guy that plays E.B. in Deadwood.
E.B. Farnham.
I was like, wait a second, I've seen that guy get a naked titty hand job. Yeah. Definitely. It's definitely
I know him from Blade Runner.
Yeah, he's in Blade Runner too. Yeah.
The waitress at the diner is Margot Martindale.
Who's in
big
everything.
Character actor.
For me,
she was in the Americans.
Yeah,
she's amazing in the Americans.
Oh, is she the Russian spy kind
she's
of?
The handler.
Kind of mother character kind of.
Yeah, no, she's phenomenal.
From 28 Days. She's like a nurse in 28 Days. That's one of my favorite movies. Not 28 Days Later. 28 Days.
28 Days Later is a good movie too.
I haven't seen it,
but
I've seen 28 Days, and it's.
But yeah, it's like a slew of Jennifer Connelly.
Oh yeah,
of Labyrinth.
You know what I read? Connelly and Billy Campbell were a romantic thing for a long time.
Really? I didn't know that.
Oh, wow, lucky guy.
He was 11 years older than her. Because she was 20 at the time this movie was made.
Oh, Billy Campbell was 31 when he was in this movie? Jeez.
He looks good.
Yeah.
He does. He's great.
Like, really, like, if, as I said, if this had been O'Connor, I'd like O'Connor. And I almost feel bad hating O'Connor so much, I still hate O'Connor.
Oh, yeah, no, it's a terrible episode.
Who's the actor that played Neville in this? Because he's like...
Tim Dalton.
Oh, that's Tim Dalton. So he's a James Bond villain. But he was Rassilon recently. No, Rassilon? Yeah. In a Doctor Who recent series.
In David Tennant's last episode.
I mean, he's a that guy.
Yep. He's in Hot Fuzz.
Yeah,
he's
great.
Yeah, he's right. He plays the villain in that. Well, most people are the villain.
He's yeah.
But it was a huge bummer because he had this great moment at the end where, like, you know, he like throws one of the Nazis or shoots one of the Nazis off the Zeppelin.
All the Nazis fell off the Zeppelin.
Yeah,
good.
And then it was just a slide, like a amusement park slide off this fucking blimp.
Well, he had a great moment where he could have made a really good James Bond, you know, like, you said we needed to lose some weight kind of joke, and he didn't, which is kind of a bummer. But afterwards, we got him being like, I do my own stunts. I don't know if you know that he was also played by Patrick Stewart.
Perhaps most famously was in The Beautician and the Beast with...
Holy shit, with Fran Drescher! He's the Beast!
Yeah.
I saw that movie a million years ago.
Really? I never saw it. I just remember... the poster for it at the local Blockbuster. I probably saw
it 10 years before I knew you. It's an old-ass movie.
It's probably not very good.
No, it wasn't.
I was going to say, it sounds very idiotic.
I was ready to really like it because I was in like a Fran Drescher is the nanny phase, and no, it was not good. I feel like
despite the title, it's almost more of a Pygmalion thing, though. She like kind of teaches him to stop being such a dickhead.
Yeah, I think that's probably correct.
Isn't that Pretty Lady?
Pretty Woman.
Or Pretty Woman, whatever.
Yeah, but with her, with Julia Roberts becomes the...
Well, classy, I know that's
classy dame in that one.
Oh, but doesn't she teach Richard Gere how to not be a dick too at the same time?
She kind of like teaches him how to love.
Yeah,
I forgot one.
Just one, because let's be real.
Well,
we could just list the cast.
Last one. The Fed that Secord punches a couple times. That was what's his name's father, the kid that Wesley killed.
Yeah.
That's take the hat off and make him sad all the time. Yeah. That's the dead kid's dad.
Yep. That's right.
That's the dead kid's dad. Yeah. I forgot that you had drawn all over your place, Matt. Jesus.
So yeah, but the movie itself.
It was so good. I
forgot we weren't at Denny's.
So you'd never seen it?
No, it was my first time. I thought it was great. As we're watching it, they get to that, that part. Because first of all, I was like, he finds the rocket and he's like, come on, Alan Arkin, we'll make lots of money down at the, airfield. And I was like, oh, this isn't just going to be a movie about airfield, like flying tricks and shit. Then we get to the point where they're at the movies and he's like watching the news and I'm like, oh, is he going to use the suit to fight Nazis?
I know. What a beautiful... see, that's the thing about this movie.
They set it up so nicely.
Is that like everything in this movie pays off. Yeah. That's one of the things I love.
Including that fucking Zeppelin. As soon as it starts coming, I was like... I'm sorry, they fly the fucking fucking Zeppelin in here?
Where did it come from?
I don't know. Maybe they just
It's
like
on the other side of the
reinflated
hill.
it real
no
quick.
one see this thing.
You know, the
It
thing
was-
that irritated me about the Zeppelin, though, is that, like the hidden...
Zeppelins are fucking stupid.
Well, no, they're awesome, actually. But, like,
Go
that
on.
one
They're
was
great at
kind
exploding.
of stupid because it was, like, really small. Like,
It was.
a tiny Zeppelin.
Yeah, it
there
was.
there
It
was
was their stealth Zeppelin.
I guess, yeah, maybe.
that's why no one noticed.
Like, what,
it
did they
before.
fly all those soldiers over and they're all crammed in that little gondola?
Yes.
Like, what's
Yes,
going
they
on?
were.
This is a bunch of bullshit.
I want, like, the Hindenburg, man, with, like, multiple decks.
Well, at
and-
least you got the
Deaths.
exploding.
Yeah, that's right.
Eventually.
But yeah, you're right. There was everything does. Like even the gum is a Chekhov's.
Yeah,
They did it-
everything.
Chekhov's gum.
They did a great job, I think, embracing this is, the 1930s, this is World War II time.
Yeah.
Because I know there was lots of talk of, do we make it modern? Because, this was, 1991. The comic books are from the 80s, and a lot racier than this movie. Because apparently the comic writer, Dave Stevens, was otherwise known for his pinup illustrations.
Interesting.
And Jennifer Connelly's character, Jenny, was originally based on Betty Page and would have been a nude model.
Nice.
And they cut that because Disney.
Yeah.
It
No.
wouldn't make good toys.
And
Well,
honestly,
they cut that because Disney, but not the, like, guys being bent in half and fucking dying in fire.
I mean, that's a little bit camp.
Well, but also, though, they just made her, like, the slightly more okay version of, like, that, which was making her an actress, right?
I mean, they still had that shot where they pan down and, like, stare at her tits. Like,
A
mhm.
couple
Oh, yeah,
of them.
because of
A couple
W.C.
of tits.
Fields or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. She was very bosomy. And they dressed her beautifully. My God, those dresses. My God, those tits. Dresses. But, like, I felt for her because, like, he kind of, like, shits all over her work constantly. And I'm just like, she's doing the real work out there, man. She is busting her ass to get these roles.
And would have been busting her ass even more as a nude model.
That's true. That's
Like,
true.
that's hard work, I bet.
Well, he's busting his ass as a pilot.
As a clown.
A clown
Clown
pilot.
pilot.
Clownlet.
Yeah, no, they both seem to, like, not really respect each other. So I'm just kind of like,
But yeah, no, I don't know. What I really can't get over in this movie is just how tight the writing is.
Yeah.
For a kid's superhero film from the
Yeah.
early 90s.
And
It's just
this is before superhero films, really.
Wait, well, I think Batman kind of
Batman was 89.
kicked it off
Yeah,
in
like,
89.
I specifically wrote down, this precludes, Batman and Dick Tracy being big.
Well, Dick Tracy
I forgot
was
about
kind,
Dick
was
Tracy.
kind of flop. Like for how hypey it
was Dick Tracy big?
It was supposed to be big.
It was
Warren,
real- it
Warren
had a-
Beatty's like baby, and he like tried to make it as a big deal. And
They spent a
it
ton
had-
of money
had
on it.
Madonna in it. It was huge.
Yeah, I think we had some Supermans at this time, but it was like,
Well, yeah, we had
that
all the Christopher Reeve.
you
ones, I
couldn't
think.
peddle a comic book superhero as a movie right
Well, that's
now.
the thing. Like the Christopher Reeve movies, like you could say that's sort of like the granddaddy of the modern superhero film.
Yeah.
But those were campy as fuck, right?
Yeah.
Like if you watch them now, they're just like, ugh. They're fine. They're good. I'm not criticizing.
They're still-
They're just very camp.
Better than any of the new
You know,
Superman
you have
movies.
you have Batman, which is kind of camp, but also very stylized.
Well, it's Tim Burton.
It's Tim
so.
Burton. It's its own thing, and also Dick Tracy was very stylized. I think you might have had like the Phantom or something.
No, so I was looking this up on the way because I was like, I feel like a lot of these were probably in response to the success of Batman '89.
Yeah.
Although Tracy was 90, so it had probably already been in development. This may have also already been as well because it's only 91.
It took them a long time, I think. Like I wrote down that the two screenwriters, I wrote their names, Danny Bilton and Paul DeMeo. They were hired and fired 3 times in the 5 years it took for them to do all the writing because the budget fluctuated.
Yeah.
They're like, give them more, no give them less, no give them more again because we like where we were going with this. No, make sure that we don't have a fucking nude model character. Make sure that there will be toys, damn it. Many, many toys.
Yeah. But yeah, so like these two just are coincidental in their release period. But I think The Shadow and The Phantom, which were 94 and 96
Oh, those
respectively.
are way later than I thought.
Like yeah,
That's literally what Chris said.
I knew Shadow was 94. I was shocked by how late Phantom was.
Yeah.
But those I feel like were more like, hey, Batman did well. What can we try to do? What can we get the rights to?
Well, by then Batman had also kind of jumped the shark.
Yes, but they probably started development earlier. And this is also when, Marvel started selling off their rights left and right because they were going fucking broke in the 90s.
Yeah,
which is why the MCU was kicked off by Iron Man instead of somebody you'd heard of.
But that's the thing. So like,
now everyone's heard of Iron
Yes.
Man.
Well, now they have.
Iron Man is the
of, like,
biggest one.
making a solid film that is moment to moment is probably one of the most entertaining, consistently entertaining films. I don't think there's any wasted screen time in this movie. I don't think there's anything I'd cut.
I wanted more of that house shaped like a dog.
I mean, I think maybe the only thing that was a little indulgent was the rescue of the clown guy.
Lies. It was great the whole
I
time.
know, it was great. It was just,
I felt myself like welling up watching him fall into the big
well, not just
pillow.
that, but I mean, like,
he's
then,
okay,
like,
thank
you know,
God.
then him flying around and flying through the laundry.
Oh,
and stuff.
yeah.
And it's all very funny and it's good sight gags, and I wouldn't cut it. It's just in terms of like whether it was necessary for the story.
I actually felt the same way.
Yeah,
But when they were doing that, I was like, wow, they're really emphasizing how like bad he is at this. That's great.
But like,
It's also kind of...
regardless, it's very tight.
Yeah, no, it really
And
is.
I think if you hold this up against any superhero movie in the last 20 years even, I think it's better in that respect.
Yeah, no, it's a really... It's kind of an excellent way. Like, here's how you do a nice, compact origin story film.
Yeah.
Because that's like... So we talk about the 70s Superman. It's a great movie, but holy shit... It is bloated. Like we
like
spend
it's slow moving or there's too much content.
We spend. I think you literally do not actually get to Christopher Reeve as Clark Kent until about maybe 45 minutes in.
Whoa!
Like you spend a long, long time on Krypton with young adult Clark.
Is he hot?
I don't remember, to be honest. They got a guy who looked enough like Reeve that you believe it when it's him. And even then, like, you very, very briefly see Christopher Reeve in the suit, but then he's Clark for... It's a while before you actually see Superman doing any Supermaning. And it's a great film, but it is bloated. Because the people in charge were like, we're making an epic. This is Superman. This is like, you know, and it had a ton of money for the time, and you want to talk special effects that have not aged well.
You mean aside from this movie?
They aged better than the Superman film.
Oh, well, I mean, if they were made 20 years later, they should have.
Yeah, but I mean, oof. But considering it came out around the same time as Star Wars, it's like, oh.
Go see a Star Wars.
Again, great movie. But yeah, no, definitely bloated as fuck.
But yeah, this one, not as much.
Nope.
Yeah, this was definitely... And at the time, too, I remember... Of course, I was 7 or younger, 6 or 7. I don't know what time it came out, but...
91.
Okay, yeah, so I would have been 6. Or 5, even. So... This movie, I don't know, I felt like it was enormous. Like, it felt like it was a huge movie, but maybe that's just because I was 5.
Meaning, like, success-wise,
well,
or...?
in terms of, I don't know, but yeah, about just popularity. Like, I know my 1991 Halloween costume was the Rocketeer.
We need pictures immediately.
I'll have my mom...
Do you have the helmet?
My mother
The
made a helmet.
Yay.
She made the whole suit.
Nice.
The coat? The coat, too?
Oh, I love that coat.
It wasn't leather like his. It
Well,
was
of
like
course not,
red
but-
fabric, but it was...
Damn.
Yeah, I had the suit. Yeah, I'm sure my mom has pictures, but yeah.
Oh my god, I fucking can't wait to see it.
Yeah, the Rocketeer. I think, I had the jetpack made out of, like, soda bottles painted. It was
Yeah, perfect. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
That would work. That's clever.
Yeah.
Shake them up and then open them up and you go.
Throw
right.
some Mentos in there. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, at least for me, like this was I don't know if I'm as big a fan as your brother, Ames, but this was definitely a huge film for me.
I know.
As a young man.
I would watch it whenever it was on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just remember like whenever it was like, oh, we're snowbound in the house or it's raining outside. It's like, what movie do you want to put on? And my go-to movie was called Cats, Cats, Cats. It was just a film of watching kittens playing for about 45 minutes.
That sounds right.
I love how to the point the title it was.
Yep, it was the sequel to Kittens, 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 I think. And my brother's
Wait,
go-to
actually,
was,
or is that a joke?
I don't remember. I may have had both, but I don't remember.
Oh my god.
And my brother's go-to was always let's watch The Rocketeer, and I just remember watching it many times. And all I really remember is that first time where Billy Campbell flies, and that's the only scene that comes to mind anymore. And apparently, I made up a couple because I thought there was a scene where a biplane goes through a barn. And
That's in so many movies, though.
yeah,
that you can just
maybe
see,
it's
like,
just so tropey.
yeah, and then it's because there's so much planes, especially biplanes. It's by the end, you're like, yeah, that surely happened in here.
Oh, my favorite line in this movie, of the whole movie, big gopher.
That was good.
I don't know. You look like a hood ornament. It's pretty good.
That
Yes.
just,
that
There's a
was
lot.
good.
There's a lot of good comedy in this one too. You know,
which is it's
It's
funny.
a good balance. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed the balance.
It's funny for him to say because he's the one that made the damn helmet.
Yeah. Oh, this is fairly good. Disney wanted to change the helmet to just a normal looking NASA helmet, and like Joe Johnston, the director, who was a big fan of the Rocketeer, as the books and stuff, like
"Don't you
threatened to
fucking touch my
fucking
helmet."
walk if they changed the helmet up from the iconic comic book version.
yeah. I mean, I feel like that would have ruined the whole movie. That is sort of built around this deco,
Yeah.
kind of artistic
That'd be like,
sensibility. And
let's make Batman, but
And
take
it's
the ears
and
off.
it's the 30s. Like it's appropriate for the time. It just looks right.
Plus, it's how he, part of the way he's able to fly it is because of that rudder on his
yeah,
head.
they make that a point in the movie, and it's shit like that. It's shit like that's a point in the movie.
Yeah.
That like it's a rudder on the helmet, and like that was something that what's his name thought
Howard
of.
Hughes.
Peavy.
Peavy
Oh,
thought
Peavy.
of.
Peavy.
Yeah. That's right. Hughes was jealous.
Yeah.
God, John Locke is great in this.
Yeah.
He was
So
great.
you mentioned the director,
Yeah.
not a household name.
I don't know. He did
But-
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and Jumanji.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Like the original Jumanji?
And
I
he was
missed that.
and he was a visual effects guy on all the original Star Wars and Indiana Joneses.
But also
So very appropriate for
the
this movie.
director of the first MCU Captain America.
Oh, really?
I read that, but I know nothing about the MCU really, so I glossed over it.
Yeah.
When he first started saying that, also director of the first MC Hammer music video.
Nope.
Nice.
Nope.
Get
he
that
did,
guy.
He did the Captain America origin film that we all know and love now.
I don't know that film. I haven't seen that.
Oh, you haven't seen the first Avenger?
I have the only MCU films I've seen. I think I saw Iron Man, the first one.
First one's good.
The Guardians of the
think
Galaxies, then?
Yeah, the
Okay.
Guardians of the
Those
Galaxy.
are the only two I've seen.
And I think I saw
Guardians is a good one.
And I saw the first Avengers, one where fucking Arrow Man shoots arrows at shit.
Hawkeye?
And then I more recently watched a few more. I watched Captain Strange.
Doctor Strange.
Sorry.
Captain Strange, yeah.
No, it's Doctor. He's
I know
right.
it is. I know it
okay.
is.
SoundCloud.
I watched.
SoundCloud.
I did watch. Okay, this one pissed me off. I might have articulated this before, but I watched Captain America: The Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
Not a
I
Civil
don't
War
think it's
movie.
called The Civil War.
Not a Civil
but-
War movie, but beyond that,
How much slavery is there?
none. It was a modern day film. It took place in the current time, and I feel like Captain America, despite being the titular character, barely showed up in it. It was mostly an Iron Man versus everybody else movie.
It was really
Spoilers.
Avengers 2.5.
Yeah, it sucked. And then I
No,
watched.
are you kidding? Oh, no, wait. Civil War?
I just remember
No,
I watched
wait.
it in a hotel and was like, "This is ridiculous."
I don't remember how I feel about that
But
one.
I will
I
say-
was about to be like,
And-
are you fucking
And
kidding?
then
But
I
I don't
watched
remember.
not the most recent one, but the one before that.
Infinity Wars?
Infinity War, where everybody dies. Sorry, spoiler alert.
But yeah, so I think this guy was a really interesting choice, though, or a good choice, frankly, for the first Captain America, because that one, of course, is set entirely during World War II.
Oh, so
Before he
period
gets
film.
thrown to the future or the present. So, I haven't seen that in a while, so I'd kind of like to go back now and see if he again manages to keep the same kind of like balance of like pulpiness but taking sort of the event seriously and.
Was there a string of movies in the early '90s that were like pre-war dramas? They were like kind of like similar to this.
Pearl Harbor.
That was like
That was-
early 2000. That was like 2003.
Was it?
That was
2000 or 2001.
Was it really?
had
Damn.
Josh Hartnett in it.
Yeah, I don't know, dude.
But I mean,
Josh
it's
Hartnett
certainly-
would have been in diapers when this movie came out.
I know, all three Indiana Jones were set like in late 30s, right before America
so the
got involved in the
Indiana
war.
Jones- I'm thinking one movie I'm thinking of in particular. I don't even remember what it was called. I want to say it. I know it had Mel Gibson.
The Patriot.
No, that was pre a different war. Mel Gibson, I think it was Mel Gibson and Elijah Wood, and Mel Gibson got cryogenically
Yes,
frozen.
and then he wakes up in the present and befriends the. Yeah, that's a stupid movie. It
Yeah.
Wow, it
sucks.
sounds
It's
awesome.
so bad. It makes no sense.
sounds bad.
Forever Young.
Something like that.
Yeah.
It's a terrible movie. I saw it once. The science makes no sense.
Isn't that a Rod Stewart song?
Might be.
It is.
So is plane racing actually a thing, or
Yes.
just a death trap for this movie?
No, it's a real thing, but it's probably also a death trap.
Jesus,
Well,
what?
You've seen an
Porque
air show.
no
I've seen an
those.
air show, but it's just, planes showing off and
Yeah,
doing
they do
a
like
trick.
formation.
No, but they're really. I don't know if it's still a thing, but yeah, plane racing was
You
totally
gotta
a thing.
imagine, this is 1938.
There wasn't a lot to do, man.
Like,
Except
They're just waiting for World War II to start. There's
Yeah,
nothing
and
else
except
going
kill
on.
up all their
Like,
pilots and
avi-
waiting for World War II.
Now,
Bad
aviation
idea.
It's
is still
exciting
kind
anyway.
of a novelty, I'd think.
Yeah,
It's only
yeah.
been around for 20 years or so.
And
20,
good planes have been
25
around for
what,
about 50.
1909? Is that Kitty Hawk?
I don't know, 03
As
is
I
the right
recall,
brothers.
and as you may recall, there were definitely airports in revolutionary times.
That's true.
So I think you need to check yourself before you wreck yourself.
But yeah, no, I think Kitty Hawk was 03. But yeah, like, airplanes being a major part of sort of everyday life only really goes back to the, like, late teens, early 20s.
Yeah, like World War One, they were still like, these newfangled contraptions.
Sometimes they just blow up. You have to stick them with gum. That was the thing I didn't like.
It
in
was
this
so
movie, because it was very dumb.
gross.
I loved when Peavy just stuck his hand in
Into his
O'Connor's
mouth. I was
World
like, you're
War One,
all
they just
disgusting.
like bolted machine guns to
Yep.
regular airplanes, and like they were operated by the pilot with like a string like that.
Well, they did have to make a special device so that
it would synchronize with the propeller
and not shoot the propeller off,
Yeah.
Damn.
which is very clever. But yeah, no, airplane racing, it might still be real, I don't know, but it definitely was at some point. I went through a really big airplane
just
phase
seems
as a kid,
They
so...
were so, like, I don't know if this was just the shots for the movie or if this is what they were like, but were they that close to each other and the audience when they flew?
That I don't know.
Because I know we talked a while back, I forget in what reference, about air shows being terribly dangerous.
Probably in relation to Nova Squadron, actually.
Oh, that sounds right. That sounds right now.
Yeah. I don't know if they were that close in real life, but I mean, planes that fly in formation
Yeah.
definitely fly that close.
Yeah.
That's true.
Like
Well,
the Blue Angels and those folk.
What really got to me, and I said this when we were
And
watching,
if you're dressed
Jesus,
as a clown, you gotta be that close.
imagine being in a fucking, like, cockpit that tight.
No.
For the racing plane one where he's basically just like, there's just enough room for him.
Yep, we just see a giant head popping out of this bubble. Tiny, tiny plane.
Yep, God.
And then they destroy the plane, and I felt so bad for that little plane. It was very
Yeah,
cute.
it was. It was a
Bright
darling
yellow,
movie.
like my
He's
car.
got another one. at
He
the
does.
end. Oh, the airfield owner,
Oh,
promoter, whoever he was, guy.
He's a that guy. He's a
that guy. I always remember him as he's always seems to play like a kind of a Weasley guy.
Yeah, no,
With
that's
that
like
voice.
Caitlin said it. Like, that's the character he always plays.
Yeah, I remember my.
It was very Danny DeVito like.
That's what I said. I said, this is the guy you hire when Danny DeVito says no, or
I
is
don't know. I
otherwise
think he's
unavailable.
got, I think he's
verify
got
that's
his own
definitely
thing
what
because I
he
feel
said.
like Danny DeVito is different. I don't know. I like this guy a lot.
Oh, yeah, I
he
mean,
was
there's
in.
nothing wrong with
he
him,
was
but-
in my controversially probably my favorite Coen Brothers film, Miller's Crossing.
Oh, Miller's Crossing is good.
Where
I don't know it.
I've
Miller's
never
Crossing
seen
is
it.
good, but
He
my
plays a
favorite will
gangster.
forever and ever be Barton Fink.
Barton Fink's great too.
I'm not going to lie. I have not seen many of their films. I still need to.
They're fun. They're very arty.
Yeah.
You kind of have to be in an arty mood.
Miller's
sometimes.
Crossing's great because it's kind of like it is a gangster film.
Yeah.
But it's
They fucking wreck a house. That's
they wreck a house in this movie.
They
too.
do.
They
That's
frickin'
actually
destroy
that
house.
is something I misremembered. This must be from a different film, or I just completely made it up. But I was convinced that there was a bit where, like, after the Fed shot off the front floor, that eventually the facade just fell forward. But that
I
must be,
wouldn't put it past them.
that must be a different movie.
After they wreck a house, they wreck a giant fancy restaurant.
Yep.
Which I entirely forgot this scene existed, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how like everything doesn't catch fire from that fucking rocket
A
pad.
lot of it does, though. Which
So,
is like
in the
every
laun-
table he goes
in
over.
the laundry
Oh, yeah, that whole room
It
should've-
should be fucking toast.
I mean, let's be fair. His
and all the
legs,
women in the fucking costume room
Yeah.
and not costume room, whatever that.
His legs should have been stumps after the first time he used the rocket. The
Yeah.
fire does not follow the laws of physics.
You're
It
not
follows the
supposed to think
laws of
about
story.
Yeah, I was having a really nice time not thinking about that, so thanks to
God
both
damn
of
it!
you
Thanks for
assholes.
ruining the movie.
Sorry. Tim Dalton, though. Man, they drew out his death, and I appreciated that.
Yeah. Oh my, he's exploded for so long.
That was an
did.
incredibly long shot. I
Between-
was like, Jesus,
between
is
him
this a
and-
Disney movie?
Yeah, between him and Lothar, that's just the deaths in this movie were great.
Well, it's like, I mean, Caitlin, you put it best. It was a simpler time when everyone could agree that we just hated Nazis.
I was like, yeah, what a nice time it was.
Yeah, Yeah, fuck Nazis, man.
Even the fucking mobster was like, "What? You're a fucking No, fuck you. I might be crooked as shit, but I'm no Nazi."
I'm glad that Paul Sorvino has a place where he draws the line.
Yeah.
And it's fucking Penny Johnson.
So, yeah, so like here's an example of why I like how the writing was done in this movie. So, the only reference, okay, I won't say the only reference, but we have the scene in the movie theater where we get introduced through the background, really, to the idea that Nazis are a thing around.
Yeah.
And we get the idea that they hate, that, these guys don't like the Nazis. And then, we have Howard Hughes turning down the opportunity to rebuild the device after it's lost or destroyed.
Yep.
But then we don't hear anything about Nazis.
Yeah.
We don't really hear anything about Nazis again until it is revealed that Neville is a Nazi.
When Jennifer Connelly finds the secret room.
She finds the secret room.
When they gave the girl character something to do.
Yeah. And honestly, like, if there had been, we already knew that Neville was a villain from the very start. That was obvious.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
He was villainous from the beginning. But if there had been a scene early in the movie where, he meets with the German, you come with the Zeppelin, and we will take the device.
That is the Frenchest sounding German I've ever heard.
It usually goes Australian with Jake. I don't know what's going on.
If there had been a scene with him conniving with Nazis earlier in the film,
Conniving with Nazis,
it wouldn't have made. I don't know. I think it wouldn't have been as good.
Yeah, no, you're right.
I like the fact that we don't get the whole Nazi plot until 2/3 through the movie.
I forgot the fact they waited that long to reveal that he was a Nazi.
Yeah. I know that the Neville character is based on Errol Flynn, and that there were rumors that Errol Flynn was a secret Nazi.
Really? I never knew that.
Yeah, I want to kind of look. I didn't get a chance to look too far into this because I started looking into Howard Hughes because he's fucking fascinating.
Oh yeah, he's a crazy bastard.
Psycho crazy.
They made that Leo movie.
Considering
I was gonna say what was that movie?
The Aviator.
The Aviator. Yeah,
it was a good movie.
Yeah, I mean, considering Hughes was also one of the most financially successful individuals in the world, that he just went fucking nuts.
Yeah, he did.
Like when they found him dead, he was so his appearance was so unlike himself. The only way they could figure out who it was through fingerprints. And I guess they found his corpse had all these broken off needles in his muscles.
What the fuck?
From all the medication he was on.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, he tragically definitely had a lot of mental health issues that were not appropriately addressed.
The spruce goose would have worked.
Yeah.
And that's as we said earlier, or whatever he said.
The spruce goose flew exactly 1 mile.
Yep.
In its entire life.
Yep.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and this, I don't know if this is a little Easter egg or not or what, but I thought it was interesting how the statue that they use to test the rocket pack
Lindy?
on is
Lucky Lindy's.
Lucky Lindy, who himself was a noted Nazi sympathizer.
I don't know enough about Lindbergh.
Yeah,
in fact, I was reading, so you're familiar with do you know the business plot? The plot against America? It's a sort of a...
Enlighten us.
So it was a thing in the late 30s, maybe early 40s, I'm not sure, where basically a bunch of businessmen in the United States were like, holy shit, Roosevelt is destroying our business, socialism, fuck.
Clang, 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 clang.
So they basically plotted, and this is all alleged, nobody ever went to jail over it, but they plotted to more or less stage a coup and install Smedley Darlington Butler.
That's a great name.
Smedley Darlington Butler.
Why haven't we named our cats one of these? One of the cats this name.
It was, I believe, a war hero, a World War I general, Smedley Darlington Butler.
No, I'm sorry. Smedley is the bad guy in a mid-century Disney cartoon.
Oh, yeah. Well, Snidely Whiplash.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's Snidely's first cousin.
Well, so here's the thing, right? So these guys basically they approach this war hero and are like, hey, people love you. You can you should join our plot, and we'll make you the dictator. You can be basically the Hitler of America. And at the time, Hitler had turned around the German economy. So the businessmen were like, yeah, this will work.
Sounds like a Spock thing to do.
Yeah, basically they had a Spock approach to Nazis at this time. Just ignore all that other stuff.
Yeah, all the patterns of force things, all that.
And
Yowza.
and then Smedley Darlington Butler, being patriotic man that he was, went to Congress and testified against these men.
Good on him. I will say, having found a photo of him, he looks like a Smedley.
Oh, I gotta see
He
this.
looks like a Smedley.
No.
Smedley.
I was expecting like a curly mustache.
Yeah, no, he looks alright.
But anyway, my thought was it's interesting that if, obviously Smedley did not share the fascist sympathies of the conspirators, but if they had gone to Lindy...
And he was pretly popular.
He was super popular.
He was a big deal.
Now, what was he a big deal for?
He was
Charles Lindbergh. He did the first transatlantic
solo
Oh,
flight.
okay.
That Lindbergh, the Lindbergh baby.
Yeah, his baby famously was kidnapped.
What?
Maybe kidnapped.
Yeah,
to cover up. Yeah. They killed it accidentally.
No, it was a kidnapping.
Really?
Accidentally?
Unsolved kidnapping.
I've never heard about that.
But
that I will look into.
Yeah, no, Charles Lindbergh, Nazi sympathizer, possibly baby killer.
Yeah.
American hero.
Well, I mean, if you're a Nazi sympathizer, you are a baby killer. So whether it be
true.
There you go.
Figurative.
So
or literal.
it took them another 70 odd years, but they finally succeeded.
He wishes his name was Smedley.
You say Smedley, you know what I start picturing is Eggman from the Sonic the Hedgehog games.
He'd be a Smedley.
Yeah.
Dr. Smedley Robotnik.
I'll have to look into that. I've never heard of the business blood, but it's...
I don't know how confirmed it all is. I think the only thing they have is the testimony of Smedley, and then, of course, all the people involved denied it, and it was quietly covered up for many years.
It sounds pretty much like exactly something that would have happened.
Oh, you know what we haven't talked about yet are the alternate castings that they were thinking about.
Oh, okay.
Of which I have a very long list. Let's start with the role of the Rocketeer, because Disney wanted an A-lister.
Sure.
And
so it was the 90s.
And they're like, let's go with O'Connor.
No, for the I think with the screenwriters basically pushed for Billy Campbell, and they finally agreed to it because he's got that cute face.
It was a good choice,
and he was good in it.
Yeah,
like, he was
really
a very good choice, much better probably than their other choices of Kevin Costner.
No, he's too old.
Dennis Quaid, Kurt Russell, Bill Paxton.
Kurt Russell.
Emilio Estevez, I might be able to see.
Sure.
Bill Paxton could have worked.
No, Bill Pullman would have worked.
I was gonna say Bill Pullman. I was gonna say that same thing.
Maybe,
but he would have definitely been too old.
Who's Matthew?
He was already like Casper's mom in the dad in the 90s.
Matthew Modine.
That name's vaguely familiar. It's Modine.
Modine.
I know the name. But yeah, most of those guys are like way too old for me to believe them as like young
Johnny
hotshot.
Depp was Disney's favorite, but he was busy having scissors for hands.
Good. Fucking.
Yeah, I don't know.
He would have been alright, but
I see. The interesting thing is that the Rocketeer is kind of a
doofus.
I mean, he's a doofus.
He's not good to his lady.
No, not particularly.
But she's not really that good to him either.
Yeah. She's definitely better to him, though.
Well, I just mean that, like, I feel like neither of them really takes the other's, like, passions or
He's not an O'Connor in that regard.
No.
Yeah, that's true.
But he's kind of swashbuckling a bit.
Okay, so...
But he's very evidently new to swashbuckling.
Yeah, oh yeah. He's yes.
Yeah, I served you last time.
Like, honestly,
I like that.
if they made this movie... If they took the script of The Rocketeer and changed some of the set pieces and repackaged it, I would have accepted it as a Han Solo origin film.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. PB is Chewie.
Yep. Yeah.
So I did find a picture of young Matthew Modine. I still have no fucking clue who he is. But he's got a similar look.
Let me see. That was too
O'Connor.
fast.
He looks familiar. He
looks
looks a little like Matt Smith, actually.
Like, I know the
Oh,
name.
yeah, that's true.
I'm sure I've seen him in something.
I was thinking he looks like...
But yeah, no. Even considering this is 91 and they were all quite a bit younger, they were all still too old.
Kevin Costner would definitely...
Yeah, he would have been too old. I mean, he was in, like, Field of Dreams the same year, right?
Especially if they paired any of these actors with Jennifer Connelly.
That really wouldn't have worked, yeah.
No, it would have been weird.
I didn't realize the age gap between them was so big. I believed they were close in age.
Oh, he looked like Billy Campbell looks very young.
Yeah, whereas like I would not have believed that early 90s Kevin Costner was close in age.
But the character, I don't think the character was supposed to be in his 30s.
No, he felt like he was...
Well, no, but he was like
26.
in his 30s playing a 20-something-year-old O'Connor as well, right?
That's true.
He's just a young-looking kid.
It's funny, I'm in the middle of editing Bloodlines right now, where we had the 36-year-old playing Picard's 23-year-old
Oh, yeah.
not son.
I was going to say, which one is fucking Bloodlines? Yeah, one of the many son ones. Great. Lloyd Bridges turned down the offer for Peavy.
Oh,
Who's Lloyd Bridges again?
One of the
Jeff
one of
Bridges'
the Bridges.
father.
The first airplane.
Yeah. I gotta
Wrong
quit
day to-
wrong day to quit sniffing glue.
Quit smoking, quit sniffing glue, quit this, quit that.
Oh, shit.
He's quite good.
He's a good actor, yeah.
Yeah,
I think he would have been a little too old for...
Alan Arkin, though, just kept, like...
He's pretty old.
He just kept delivering
Lloyd
lines.
Bridges, even then, was old.
I mean, he was getting old in Airplane.
Yeah.
I felt like Arkin's delivery never quite matched what he was saying.
I
But I feel like that's also an Arkin special, to just... Here's sort of talk. Alan Arkin.
Yeah, you get him to be... He's always kind of exasperated.
Yeah.
Who else you got, though?
Let's see. Both Jeremy Irons and Charles Dance turned down Neville Sinclair.
Ooh, Charles Dance.
I know.
Jeremy
Especially
Irons would have been great,
actually,
too.
1991 Charles Dance.
See, Charles Dance, though, he's also the villain in one of my other favorite superhero films of the 90s.
Game of Thrones. What?
The Last Action Hero.
Don't think I saw it.
Oh,
No.
yeah, I always forget he's in that.
He's the villain. The premise of that film is...
I like Cat.
Briefly, it is a kid... It's a cheese... I don't suspect this movie holds up as well as as well as Rocketeer, but be that as it may, I loved it when it came out. Basically, a kid is given by a ticket taker at a movie theater a magic ticket,
Yeah.
which he then tears, and it transports him inside of an action movie.
Okay. That's a fun premise for
The movie. The movie
90s.
is starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, but when he gets into the film, obviously Arnold's there, but he's playing the character, or he is the character from the film, and the movie itself, it was so billed kind of as an action movie. Or as like a comedy. I mean, it is both, but it's also, I think,
For kids? It sounds
Yeah.
a little kiddie.
it is for kids.
Was, yeah.
But it's also very
Here's a little
satirical.
kiddie.
Like, there's a lot of jokes. Like, for example, one of my favorite jokes from that film is they're in a movie. Like, the kid is trying to convince the Arnold character in the movie that he is actually a movie star and that his name is Arnold Schwarzenegger. And so that he's like, here, I'll prove it to you. We'll go to the video store. We'll go to Blockbusters.
Yeah, and rent Total Recall.
And we'll rent some Arnold movies. So they get there and he's like...
Kid shouldn't be watching Total
And he's
Recall.
like, look, there's a poster for the Terminator, but it's starring Sylvester Stallone. And they actually made a Sylvester Stallone
Like a mock-up poster.
for
that's cute.
for Terminator.
That's awesome.
There's a white cat on my notes now.
Oh,
So I
like
can't
it.
tell
I
you,
do remember
I can't
that,
tell
like,
you the other
like,
notes.
In the movie world and that, the villain is Charles Dance, and
What is the villain's role? What does he do that's fun?
I don't remember. I remember he had a glass eye, and that was sort of a thing.
What, in real life? Or in
No,
the movie?
in the movie.
Okay.
And like one of them exploded. It was just
One
like
of his eyes
it was a
explodes?
very cartoon.
Yikes.
Like the movie world was very cartoonish. Like I remember, like
Yeah. Didn't he literally have a cartoon sidekick?
there was a cartoon police officer, but there was also like I remember they were gonna like blow up. They're gonna try to destroy some rival mafia boss or his whole family. So they packed a corpse with explosives, and to trigger the explosives, you had to pull the corpse's finger.
Oh, Jesus.
Nice.
Yikes.
But yeah. Anyway, end of the film. Spoiler alert. The movie world comes out into the real world, and
Okay, that's kind of fun.
and bad things start.
Well, that explains why everything's so fucked.
I love that movie.
Well, if we ever really want, F. Murray Abraham is also in it, so
He
we've got a
was.
Trek connection.
That's true.
So has the cat moved off of the appropriate part of the notes?
Although the other part of the notes that I know Caitlin noticed when we first started recording was that if we hadn't gotten, Trek alum Paul Sorvino, actually he wouldn't have been in Trek yet, but they offered Eddie Valentine to Joe Pesci, who turned it down.
That would have just been distracting.
I don't know if I think it would have been distracting, but I think that Joe Pesci would have been too, serious gangster, and this is kind of like a fun film.
Yeah. Although, we say that he was in Home Alone.
Yeah, but,
he's
I
been in
really...
Home Alone at the
Yeah,
time.
but he fucking meant that shit.
That's true.
He bit Kevin McAllister's finger so hard that what's-his-name still has a fucking scar.
Macaulay Culkin?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
He's got a scar in his finger from Joe Pesci, cutting his shit with his teeth.
Damn.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
so...
you're right. He would have actually, what? I'm no fucking Nazi, starts wailing on Tim Dalton. It's an act. Jesus.
They should have made Joe Pesci the Rocketeer, so that when
He's so short.
When the guy decided, when the guy was like, "Oh, you should do the clown act," he'd be like, "Remember that clown to you? Do I make you laugh?"
I was gonna say, because then you could have had what's her name from My Cousin Vinny be the guy that fixes the what's her name?
I don't know.
The hot aunt now, and what's her name?
I can't think of it.
Come on. Oh, guys. Anyway.
But yeah, the girlfriend who's also a mechanic.
Yeah, she could have been
she
in
could have
it,
been
and
Phoebe.
she could have been the one fixing the rocket.
And Peavy would have been the love interest instead of...
Yeah, I have a
Jennifer
question.
Connelly.
What? So Peavy and what's the
Cliff Secord.
Clifford.
I only know the Rocketeer. So Peavy and Cliff, they cohabitate evidently.
In a dog's head? Is that where they live? No, they
No,
live
they
in
have
a
That's where they had to hide
their
out.
house that got shot up.
Yeah.
I mean, Peavy's like kind of older man.
Mm-hmm.
Cliff's a young man.
Would you say that Peavy was a confirmed bachelor?
Perhaps. I'm just kind of curious what their relationship is.
Because it's
Peavy seems to go do a lot for Cliff.
So
he probably doesn't have to.
Because it's a Disney film, my impression was, and maybe this was just lost in an adaptation, in one of those drafts or something, but it feels like one of those, I raised him.
Yeah, like we don't hear anything about
parents
Secret's
or anything.
parents. You can only assume, especially because Disney. I mean,
Well, and
it could have
everyone
been
in
the
Disney is a
comics,
fucking
so.
orphan, so it would make
That's
sense.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be something that just never made it over from the comics, like you were saying, Ames. Like,
Yeah.
It definitely felt like, I don't think they were confirmed bachelors together. It was more like Peavy was his father figure.
Okay. Yeah, and he's like, but he's also like the mechanic.
Yeah.
And can build
Well, he
rockets when
probably
he needs to.
learned how to fly from him. I mean, it's probably like the
Well,
business
is
that he
Peavy a
knew.
pilot though? I don't know.
Well,
Yeah. Yeah, there's actually...
Oh,
when the
there was a
gangsters-
picture. There was a picture. That's right in the diner.
Yeah, when the
Oh,
gangsters
yeah.
looking at photos on the wall, there's a picture of a younger PB standing next to a biplane in like a full kit.
Yeah.
Man, in that diner, my note was the pies are the worst casualty of this movie
Yeah, true.
because I want to eat those pies. So reportedly, and no news like this changes on a day-to-day basis, but as of 2016, so it's surely dead by now, Disney wanted to reboot it as The Rocketeers, and it would be set 6 years after the original, so 44, and have a black female pilot searching for Cliff Secord, who has gone missing.
But they couldn't possibly find him because in the real world it's been 25 years and they didn't put Billy Campbell into cryostasis.
No, they can get the guy who played Han Solo. It'll be fine.
That would actually be kind of hysterical.
Yeah. So how would the Han Solo origin version of this is instead of Nazis, it's the Empire.
Yep.
And instead of a rocket pack, it's
A rocket pack.
The Millennium Falcon.
It's the Millennium
You
Falcon.
can't wear the Millennium Falcon on your back.
But yeah. Well, no, that's the Millennium Falcon is his plane from the beginning.
Oh, there we
go. That he crashes.
Sure.
And then maybe it's not a jetpack. Maybe it's something else that he gets.
No, wait. He was actually friends with Boba Fett, and they both had jetpacks together.
There you go.
Aww,
Jetpacks.
Jetpack buddies.
So he has jetpack, and then in the end, he has to have a rich benefactor. That's the one that ends up
Jabba.
Jabba. Yep.
Jabba the Hutt.
That's part of the reason.
Is
he
our
ends up-
Howard
yeah.
Hughes character.
I buy it.
Who gives Han Solo the Millennium Falcon at the end.
Younger Jabba had one of those mustaches.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, I'm liking this already.
I mean, let's be honest. This movie is better than both The Outrageous Icona and Solo. So, I mean...
Agreed.
Yes.
True.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, most things are better than the outrageous O'Connor.
That is true. And it's just so transparently like we're trying to make a Star Trek Han
That
Solo.
pregnant chick couldn't
But I'm
fucking
glad that he
act.
got another job after that.
Yes.
Like, I'm glad that he was able to find
Well, I was
work.
wondering if this was before or after because I was like, fuck, I wouldn't hire this guy if I saw
that was
the
like a
outrageous
season
Kono.
1 episode or 2.
It was the second, I think, of season 2.
Yeah,
Sounds
so
right.
That would have been 88. 80,
Yeah, and
One
this
of the
was
first ones of season
91,
2.
so...
Oof. Hard to imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. The visual effects in this film, quite dated.
Yeah.
It was
yeah.
ILM,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What is that?
Industrial Light and Magic.
George Lucas's special effects company.
Oh, neat.
But I think what we're learning time and time again is that when you're like green screen or blue screen compositing, which is what I'm sure most of those flying around scenes
more,
were.
More than certainly. It certainly wasn't Billy Campbell because he's a fan.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. Like,
Really?
it could have been miniatures, but I don't think it was miniatures. I think it was just.
There was that one time where the big guy with the makeup face was obviously a dummy smashing through the window.
Yeah.
They were so angry at him about it too. Like, damn it, Lothar!
How dare you?
God damn it!
No, Tim Dalton was sad. He was like,
Oh, that was a sad. Oh, I thought he was kind of unhappy.
no, I think the other Germans were unhappy, but he seemed like my huge ugly friend
My
who cuts the
pet
crusts
henchman.
off his sandwiches.
Oh,
Was
yeah.
that a thing?
When he first calls him, when you just see his hands, he's got a plate with a sandwich on it that he's cut into fours
Yeah,
and
with
cut
no
the crusts
crusts.
off like a
yeah,
kid.
you're
I
right.
can't stand people who don't eat the crust. It's such a waste. Pizza, especially.
The Nazis were
Oh yeah, that's fair.
amusing. The crew on the Zeppelin, like the captain who's like, "Oh, don't worry, we have the best pilot in all of Germany,"
He's knocked out a window.
and then fuck.
Guys,
Oh, did anybody else? I don't know if this was just me projecting this, but did Neville affect kind of a German accent
Yeah, he
once it was
suddenly-
revealed?
Yes.
that I could have done
I
without.
was like, that was a little dumb.
that was a bit, yeah.
Like, he could have just been
An
Englishman who was
Yeah.
sympathetic. Like, those existed.
Yeah.
Why did he have a closet full of women's clothing?
To impress the many women he brought to his house, probably.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh man, when
I
she
want you to dress in this.
Oh God, I will say, Tim Dalton, when he turned the creep factor up, that was astounding.
It was
he
nice.
was so creepy.
He's good.
when she Chris, when we're watching it and he like chloroforms Jenny, Chris is like, Jesus, good thing he had that chloroform rag at the ready. And I said, this is probably how he gets all of his dates back to his house, if he's having a slow night at the club. But then they get to the house, and Jenny's like, is this how you seduce all your dates? And I was like, damn, girl, get out of my head.
I finally did a scene with Neville Sinclair.
Oh, that was good.
That was
Yeah,
good.
some
I liked her
lines.
there. She doesn't do very much after that.
Yeah, no, she's very much like the traditional, like,
Damsel.
woman in a comic book pulp kind of. It's her job
but
to
she
get
knocked out.
captured.
She knocked out the big motherfucker,
Lothar.
She knocked out some random. Didn't she also knock out some random?
She knocked out Tim Dalton with a
Well,
vase.
right, she did that.
Yeah, but he got up
Did
again.
she also get another dude?
Well, she got into a fight in the Zeppelin.
That's right.
Yeah, no, she fucked up some bitches. She did great, and she looked beautiful
But
doing
yeah,
it.
I'd say one thing that would have been more
I know, why
potentially
have her
an
change out of that
improvement
dress?
would have been to have
Do not
her more out of that character.
Yeah, but
than
they
just
were.
be the damsel in distress.
Yeah,
I
but
think
they were
that
very
was,
much.
I think a lot of that was from the comics, where
Yeah.
I just had a whole section in the comic book writer's Wikipedia page that was just all pin-up models that he's drawn. And I was like, yeah, that's what she is. That's what she was meant to be.
Oh, so there's another great Tim Dalton moment that Caitlin, you noticed when after they fired Jenny, but he realizes he needs her because she knows Cliff's C chord. Well, you noticed it. You can.
Oh no, he was just kind of like doing that thing where you check yourself, and he kind of like ran his hand and then like kind of made sure his wig was okay.
Yeah, he like kind of adjusted his hair a little. He's like, isn't it a wig?
Yeah. Still, you want to check the wig too.
It's true.
I actually really, really liked during the scene where Jenny's getting fired, and they're playing out the scene in the background, that you could hear all the same lines being delivered. And I like that touch. That was nice. Reminds you that, oh yeah, that's going on.
Yep.
Whilst Cliff is barging into a set.
I mean,
you know what closed set means, don't you?
No.
I mean, obviously not, dude.
but also like,
Does anybody?
shouldn't there have been a guy watching the door? Don't you pay someone for that?
No,
Yeah,
there were a
it's the
bunch.
30s.
There were a bunch of women he was watching instead.
Yeah, but also that flat was an accident.
Yeah,
waiting
no, that
to
was
happen.
not secured well.
Somebody should have got fired over that, and it wasn't Jenny.
That wasn't secured well enough. Where the hell was the guard for the door?
Clear
Who
ocean
was their
violations everywhere.
Who was their fight choreographer that one dude ended up getting stabbed?
Yeah, they had they had
Neville
real
Sinclair.
swords.
Well, and I thought it was like real too. Like I thought he meant to do it. I was like, "Fuck! Did he kill that guy?"
They
on
kind of
purpose?
imply he might have.
Yeah, that was another brief moment where I'm like, I don't know if unless they had made it more clear that he did intentionally stab the guy, like maybe if they because the guy says like, did I steal the scene? It would have been maybe if there had been some indication of that prior, and then we could have actually seen, then it would have been more clear that Neville actually just stabbed him. But at the same time,
I didn't get the impression at all. I thought he was joking.
I don't know. At the same time, it just seemed like an unnecessary bit in the film. We're already aware that he's a villain.
Okay, so that's the one unnecessary scene in how long is the movie?
I'm really picking nits. About
it's really a very, very good
I had
film.
forgotten about it though, that part, and I remember just being like, "There's no payoff, so I don't understand why this is here."
Although the initial sequence itself is great because it is very much like just a old swashbuckling movie, and they captured that perfectly.
Yeah, and even to the point of like he's wearing the eye mask, like the Zorro mask, then he pulls it off, and then they're like, "Oh my God, it's you!"
Yeah, it's original.
It's like, wow, yeah, that's basically how that shit works.
That's actually that is the only like good moment of the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern. I saw it in theaters because I love the comics, and I was like, I should see this. Oh, that was a mistake. But when he shows up at his sort of on-again, off-again girlfriend's place after he's rescued her as Green Lantern, he shows up still as the Green Lantern. He's like, "Are you okay, miss?" And she's like, "Hal?" It's like, "No, Hal, I've known you since we were like 15. I've seen you naked. You think because I can't see your upper cheekbones, I'm not going to be able to tell it's you?"
Also, why are you naked?
Well, no, isn't he actually naked under the suit? Technically,
everyone's naked under their clothes.
I mean, no. What I mean is, doesn't he use like Green Lantern power to like make the? Isn't it like just an image?
So I mean, in the movie, it's explicitly like, he uses Green Lanterns to sort of create it over his clothes. Okay. I forget how it works in the comics, to be honest.
So he is wearing clothes.
Isn't his power that the color green gives him power?
No, he can pretty much make anything he can think of with his power ring.
As long as it's green?
Well, it's green because that's the energy it projects. So
that's the color of its chakra.
Are there other lanterns?
Aura. Yes.
There eventually were others made. There was a whole big storyline. People call it the Skittle Lantern War. But originally, no. There was just the Green Lantern and the original Green Lantern was Alan Scott, but that's a whole different thing. The Hal Jordan Green Lantern, his main enemy was Sinestro. Very subtle name. A disgraced Green Lantern who went to like another dimension and got an evil ring which used yellow energy.
Yellow, right?
And yellow energy was the one thing. The color yellow was the Green Lantern ring's weakness.
It was the kryptonite.
Yellow was close to green.
Yeah,
it should be red.
You could just piss on the Green Lantern and take all his power away.
It wouldn't take his power.
It should be a complementary.
It wouldn't take his power away, but like if you were trying to shoot the Green Lantern and he made a big green like shield, if you peed on it, it would shatter.
Wow.
It's the stupidest weakness. They eventually got rid of it.
Literally pee? Like
if it's yellow.
What if you were blonde?
Yeah, you could probably beat the shit out of him with your hair.
Or if you had like a little yellow cat.
Yep, totally. There's actually one of the stupidest Green Lantern stories I ever read. He's like trying to, like a bus has broken down.
But it's yellow!
A school bus has broken down on some tracks. It's like, I can't pick it up, it's yellow! It's like, dude, the undercarriage is black. Yikes. The tires are black.
But also, I would argue that school buses are closer to orange than yellow.
Well, still, it was just...
No, is there a spectrum? Is there a color spectrum that he can do?
I honestly don't remember, because when
What about yellow-green? What about yellow-green,
So,
Chris?
when I was reading the comics, the incumbent lantern...
Yellow-green is a problem, green-yellow isn't, because it's more green.
All right. We've gotten pretty far
I read when I was reading it was the Kyle Rayner years, they'd gotten rid of that stupid weakness, so I don't quite know the mechanics.
All right.
Yes,
well,
sorry.
I'm done. I have exactly one more note, and that's the Nazis in Rocketeer rockets cartoon is the best part of this movie.
Yeah, the cartoon was fun.
I remember
the cartoon is so cute.
I remember when I was like really young and this movie was new, being really creeped out by the design of the Rocketeer Nazi like helmet face thing. Like now it's not, but I remember as a kid like it really creeped the shit out of me. Which is funny, because in a way, like, the Rocketeer mask is sort of creepy, but I never thought so. Still don't, but...
yeah, it's got that kind of grated mouth.
Yeah, like, imagine this guy's
it's
like...
Iron Man-ish. That's where Iron Man must have gotten some of their...
No, Iron Man's from the 60s.
Oh, that's true. I forgot. I am.
Fine. But yeah, like, imagine, you've just survived this thing, this guy says, like, "Don't worry, man," with his, like, grill mouth and his huge bug eyes. Like,
Grill mouth.
Fuck off!
Grill mouth and bug eyes.
Great design, though. I love it.
It's great.
Oh, another Trek another Trek connection in this movie is the climactic battle at Griffith Observatory. Griffith Observatory will, in the future, we haven't seen it yet, factor prominently in an episode of Voyager.
Oh, cool. Neat.
That's where they were doing the hostage handoff?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a famous landmark in Los Angeles.
Yeah, it shows up in a lot of Los Angeles-based
Although I
films.
do think it's incredibly trite that there are so many, like, how did Hollywood land lose the land?
Yeah.
Like, I'm done with all these fucking land jokes.
Yeah, but I feel like it's been a long time since I've seen one, so I kind of thought it was cute.
Yeah, it's in this.
That's because no one does them anymore, because it's a bad idea.
How else is that settled?
1941 had it blown up.
But it was already blown up in 1938 by Neville Sinclair.
I know. I don't get it either.
I feel like it's in like a lot of like Bugs Bunny cartoons or something. I feel like
It's
I
definitely-
feel like I've seen it enough times that I'm done with
See,
it.
that to me feels like something where like that feels like a studio intervention to me. It's like oh, we got to get one more joke in there.
Yeah. Actually, you know, a really great joke is at the end when, you know, PB's reading off the sort of falsified news report claiming he was killed when Sinclair was killed when rubble fell on his car. Like, oh,
Rubble.
it's a shame. It's a nice car.
Yeah.
I feel like he literally was like, oh, terrible.
A nice car.
Yeah.
And then and that ending. Yeah, that's the thing. It is kind of a shame that they didn't turn this into a franchise because they set it up
Yeah.
at the end with having, you know, Peavy still having the
Oh yeah.
Blueprints.
the blueprints and, you know, already like already talking about, oh, I could improve this, that, and the
Yeah,
other.
and Hughes is our new buddy.
Yeah.
I would love to watch more of Hughes and PB palling around.
Yeah, this was originally supposed to be a trilogy, but because I guess the movie only made $46 million on a $35 million budget.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
not
that's
enough.
sad. It was so good.
Yeah, so they said no to the
Like, it
other
wasn't as
two
big
movies.
as I thought it was. Yeah,
I
it's
had
a
never
shame.
heard of it until
Really?
I had met Chris.
I feel like if they produced this script today with modern
Well, they'd fuck it up
special
for starters.
effects, well, no, they have to do the same script and
I don't know, but
hopefully.
then everything would be green screen, and I get so tired of that.
I mean, everything was green screened in this.
True.
No,
it
if
It was a
charming.
shittier.
It was charming.
It wouldn't
charmingly
be green or blue screen. It would just be an all CG
It'd be
clip
crappy
C-cord.
CG. I
Yeah.
don't want that.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, this was an 18-inch model C-cord, so...
Oh,
okay.
it was a model. Okay.
Yeah.
See, that's why I wasn't sure if it was. Well, so yeah, that
Yeah,
was
because
something I was
Billy
going to say.
Campbell
So,
was
like,
afraid of heights. I think he got a little better during the movie, and I guess, you know, they didn't want to put a stunts person through whatever the fuck this was.
Well, there were some. So, like, as much as like some of the compositing effects were shitty, there was some pretty okay.
Yeah, a lot of it.
stunt work.
Oh yeah.
Even like
That
in
clown in the bag of air? Yeah.
the clown in the bag of air, there was a moment where where he's doing like the where he's climbing onto the airplane to rescue the clown, and it looks legit. I don't know how maybe they literally had a stuntman climbing onto a plane in flight. I don't know.
I doubt that.
And then there's a point where like his rocket gives out and he tumbles down several hundred feet. And there's a moment in that where it looks like they actually had a skydiver do it.
What was a really good effect too was
The cloud.
when he reactivates the rocket in the cloud. The way they had the light sort of dispersed through it looked really
Yeah,
good.
Yeah, there's some really dated stuff, the compositing, but some of the stuff, the more practical stuff, I thought really.
Yeah,
stood
no,
out.
it really does hold up.
But yeah, you're right. If they did it today, it would be
They'd fuck it up.
all CG and
Yeah, like
it wouldn't look as
I
good.
get so sad watching like behind the scenes videos of like, you know, Game of Thrones or the Star Wars prequels, which were nothing but green screens, and just watching like actors walk down a green hallway. And it's like, this is sad. This is just fucking sad.
Yeah, like at least build some of the damn building.
Isn't there's a video somewhere? I don't know if I think it's a video, or I just read it. I don't remember. But I thought that there's a thing in reference to the Lord of the Rings trilogy where Ian McKellen had to perform most of his scenes scenes that were with the hobbits.
Yikes.
I believe had like some of them they used like forced perspective and stuff, but a lot of them were he performed in front of a green screen.
I think that was more in the Hobbit.
Oh, was that in the Hobbit?
Lord of the Rings, they used a lot more of the like practical
Forced
effects,
perspective,
forced perspective,
big
like
props,
yeah,
big and little props.
It's part of the reason that no, I think they ended up being kind of lazy with the Hobbit.
Well,
and
the Hobbit
resorting to a lot
sucked,
of,
so that makes more sense. But anyway, yeah. So Ian McKellen basically kind of like breaking down on set and being like, "This is not acting." Or
yeah, that was definitely the Hobbit. I've read the same
okay.
thing. Yeah, no. Lord of the Rings,
Don't
they
make
tried.
Ian mad.
It can actually be demoralizing to actors.
Yeah,
for actors
Lord of
to
the Rings,
perform
they
in that.
tried a lot harder.
Yeah, well, Hobbit was a money grab.
No,
It was a money. As soon as they're like, yeah, it's going to be a trilogy, you knew it was a money grab.
Yeah. Always said the same thing. I was like, you can't eke 3 movies out of this book. It's like
Well,
a small
they'll
book.
just pad it with a bunch of fucking Legolas bullshit.
And some Silmarillion, which only
I
like
didn't
really
even
big
watch.
fucking
I don't think I even
losers
watched
want.
the third one.
Sorry, no
I
offense.
watched the first 2, and like they did the fucking surfboard shield arrow thing like 3 times
just to piss you off.
Oh, it's in the
They heard Jake's
They took the
synopsis
worst
of it.
the worst 45 frames of cinema ever captured and just kept copy pasting it.
Made it into a whole movie.
So
Just
terrible.
2 hours of Legolas doing the surfing.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I would have liked it for there to be a franchise. Although, who knows? They probably wouldn't have been able to maintain. Because part of the reason this movie works so well is because the origin story is because it's very tight.
Yeah.
If he just becomes a superhero that has a jetpack.
Yeah, like there were legit scenes like they just pulled from the comics directly for many scenes. Like it was just verbatim from the comics.
So if they had enough comics to work from.
Maybe.
I don't know if they did.
Maybe, you know what it is? Now is the time, not for a remake, not even like a reboot so much, but a high-budget streaming service series. Preferably a streaming service I already have a subscription to.
But then it would become like the Rocketeer
So
cinematic
CBS.
universe.
That's true.
And
Everything's got to be a universe now.
Oh, they could do like an
When's he gonna
alternate
meet
history
Catwoman?
thing where the Nazis do get the jetpack and he has to go fight them, but then they win the war anyway, and then he has to fight them as part of the...
The Rocketeer in the High Castle?
Oh, yeah,
watch
that's
that.
already a show.
I'd watch that actually.
That's what we need to just come up with is all the versions of the big streaming shows, but with the Rocketeer. Stranger Things, just add the Rocketeer.
Yay!
Bunch of kids and a guy with a jetpack.
Abbott and Costello meets the Rocketeer.
And I
The
guess
Ninja Turtles and the Rocketeer.
between The Last Crusade and this movie, it just reaffirms my belief that there's nothing wrong with throwing Nazis out of a blimp.
No, nothing at all.
Nice.
100%.
On that note, I think this is a perfect note to end on.
Yes. Yes, it is.
So what are we doing, Jake?
Oh, what are we? Oh, this is the talk out?
Yeah.
Oh.
Shake us out, man.
All right, we'll do it. All right. Well, folks, that was The Rocketeer. A rollicking, great soundtrack. I think a great movie. I think we all agreed it was a good movie.
Yeah.
I was very surprised when you watched it recently and said it holds up, and I read the synopsis of it. And I'm like, this holds up.
You're like, does it?
This is the stupidest idea I ever heard,
No,
and then
it's
you
so
watch
good.
it, and it's great.
Yeah.
And it's one of those movies I think a lot of people may have forgotten about.
Yep.
Especially, even if you grew up when it came out, even if you're our age, then you might not remember it as well. I highly recommend it.
Mhm.
Please watch it.
Sadly, as of recording, not streaming anywhere, but you can rent it for like $3 on Amazon
I
digitally.
have it.
And it's
already.
$8 to buy new. So,
Oh, brilliant.
yeah.
Get The Rocketeer. It's great. Watch it, rewatch it, and let us know what you think of The Rocketeer. But we are back to business next week as we will be jumping head first into the first of the Star Trek The Next Generation movies.
Ugh.
That is Star Trek Generations. Generations, everybody. And why is it called Generations? Well, because we have both the next generation and
The Nexter generation?
the past generation. That's right. Old meets new in this cosmic adventure featuring your favorites, Jean-Luc Picard and James T. Kirk, played respectively by Patrick Stewart and William Shatner in his final Star Trek appearance.
We don't know. He could be in Picard.
That's true. His final Star Trek appearance that has aired to date and is not archival footage. So there's that. Look forward to that next week. We'll also get us some Doohan action and some caning. And,
The cameo no one asked for.
Yeah.
Walter.
We see a
No, they
we
asked.
see a
That's
Sulu. We see Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
We'll say all this next
All
week.
right. Anyway, it's very exciting, everybody.
No, it isn't.
We hope
not terrible.
you'll join us next time as we go beyond the final frontier in Star Trek generations. That's all next time on our show, A Star to Steer Her By. Until then, follow us on Facebook and Twitter and Tumblr, SSHB Podcast, sshbpodcast.com. Download us on Apple Podcasts, Google, and every other podcast platform. And of course, you can listen to us at soundclown.com. We'll do the SoundClown radio pilot show next week. But until then, my name is Jake.
This has been Chris.
This has been Ames.
And this has been Caitlin.
Catch you later. To the rocket! Fuck Nazis, man.